Coming to you recorded
from the Holy Land in Broomfield, Carolina.
We're Betty, Joe, and Roy.
And this is
Formula Lunch.
Welcome back to Formula Lunch, the unofficial, unauthorized, and unencumbered show where we sit next to food and talk about this weekend's Grand Prix. Who provided this week's lunch?
That.
Doesn't it
Our
look
processed
delectable?
meat from... So what happened at the Formula 1 ROLEX GRAN PREMIO del made in Italy DELL'EMILIA-ROMAGNA 2022?
Well, I'm glad you asked about that. It's the first sprint race of the weekend. First sprint race weekend of the year.
And so what happened during the sprint race? So in 20th place, we have Sainz crashing out on the second turn of the first lap, just running into...
It was Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, it was Ricciardo.
And you could argue that one of them sacrificed their line, but it's in the wet. It's the first turn.
Yeah, it was
That's gonna
slippery.
happen.
That's a tough
The
situation.
Tifosi will be upset, but that's...
Cold tires, wet races. What can you expect?
Yeah. Another DNF coming up in 19th for Fernando Alonso. His side pod blew off. Ooh, what was that? That would be
Lap 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was Hamilton was pale. It was lap 2 or 3. Side pod blew off from an incident in the first lap with Schumacher.
Yep.
Bumping his rear tire into his side pod, and the side pod just took enough damage to where it just fell off as Hamilton was literally as Hamilton was passing him.
Reminds us of FP1 of Australia.
Oh yeah, the first race, yeah. And in 17th, we have Mr. No Race, Daniel Ricciardo. He started in, what, 6th or 8th or something? He started very high in the grid and then just took off poorly, never recovered. He got into it with Sainz, and then he went off with their... Yep, broke the front wing, had to go and replace the front wing, and then at that point, he just wasn't picking it up, so they just kept pitting him. He pit 3 times, 3 different tires. He went from intermediates to mediums, from mediums to hards, from hards to softs, I think. Or no, he stayed on hards.
Intermediates to softs, softs to mediums, mediums to hards.
Mediums to hards.
Yes. Coming up in actual 17th place, Daniel Ricciardo was in 18th, but coming up in 17th place was Mick Schumacher. He had a spin on the first lap. Not a full spin, just lost it. That's what hit
that's what hit Alonso.
And then it was really his going off track at the chicane.
Yeah, where he almost hit another Alpine. I think it was Ocon at that point.
Yes,
he was behind him, and he just lost it, went through the chicane, turned away from him, and did a little loop-de-loop pulled.
His shoes were looking cool.
In 16th, we have the typical Williams of Latifi. We actually took a poll before that we were seeing if the car was even going to finish. And luckily he did. He did finish. He had a fine race. Nothing exciting. Just trudged on through.
Yeah. That's pretty exciting for Latifi this year.
Yeah. And we have the same to say for Guangzhou. He finished in 15th.
After crashing out in the sprint race?
He did crash out after crashing out in the sprint race.
Exhaust.
You'll hear about that at the beginning, though. And in 14th, we have Ocon. He, again, another quiet race, almost lost. Almost got taken out by Schumacher, but nothing happened. He just finished in 14th. Steady. It was a pretty steady race.
He was a part of that long DRS train that was going for the majority of the race.
Yeah.
You know who else was caught up in that long DRS train? In 13th place, Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion and holder of the most wins record, most poles record.
Hammy no race.
Hammy no race.
Oh, it was no pace. Hammy no pace.
Hammy no pace. Hammy no pace.
Stuck behind Albon and Gasly since lap 18 for what, 40 something laps.
Yeah, he came
45 laps.
He came off for the pit to get out of the intermediate tires onto the softs, and got cut off in the pit lane by Esteban Ocon. He did receive a penalty for that, which is probably why. No, he ended up behind him for a minute.
Yeah, he ended up behind, but yeah, he got that 5-second penalty for cutting off Hamilton in the pit box, pit straight.
Unsafe release. You know who Hamilton couldn't pass?
Typical fashion of our Frenchman, Pierre Gasly. Just can't pass that guy. That guy's got the widest rear caboose in all of F1.
He's only got the widest car with Lewis Hamilton behind him.
I'm gonna be real. I like Hamilton, but I really think this year he's just kind of being a little of a.
He might be out of it. He might be out of it.
He's not feeling it.
His head isn't in it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem in it. That's the appropriate way to put that. So yeah, that figures Hamilton in 13th, Gasly in 12th, Albon in 11th. All very solid races. They stayed very together.
Albon's
there.
head is in it.
Albon's feeling it, yeah, which is good.
Yeah. They stripped off all the paint, as much of the paint as they could.
Yeah, the sticker thing.
Yeah, it's more carbon fiber than livery at this point.
Yeah. And then let's talk about the greatest driver in all of F1.
The greatest. He is,
the man that speaks to all of our hearts, Lance Stroll, finishing in the first in points in 10th place. Love the man. Deserves everything he's gotten up until this point.
He got there on pure hard work. He doesn't even know anybody.
I've never seen that dude flip an F2 before, ever.
No, I have not seen
I've never seen that video.
Explode.
Yeah. The fact that...
I was at Imola, too.
Yeah, it was. Yep. Was it Imola or was it the other one?
Monza?
Yeah.
Might have been Monza.
I think it was Monza.
I think it was Monza. My bad. That's okay. Someone else who had a little bit of a bad, but still a pretty good race was Kevin Magnussen, bringing the Haas up into 9th place.
Yeah.
After a phenomenal qualifying session. P4, getting the highest ever qualifying position for the Haas team. Losing most of that in the sprint race, going down to
P8, I think.
P8,
yeah. Stayed in P8 pretty much the whole race, and then just...
He did a lot of bouncing around. A lot of people had to deal with Kevin Magnussen.
Which is good. It's good to see the Haas doing that.
It is.
In 8th, we have Vettel, which is the ending of the Aston Martin points, but thankfully they finally got some points. Glad Vettel had a better race this weekend. It was really sad to see him go out last weekend.
Yeah,
or 2 weeks
it's only
ago.
his second race, even though it's everybody else's fourth, and it looks like he's catching back up to the car.
Yeah, we need that. We need Vettel.
Yeah, you need Seb up there.
Vettel for race director.
Speaking of people who had a great race, Yuki Tsunoda coming in 7th position after just really flying by during the last couple of laps.
Yeah, the pass on Vettel was really good, and then he had the one. I don't remember who he passed. But he passed by. I think it was Vettel, where he just right on by.
Right by him.
Yeah, those AlphaTauris are looking really good. I mean, they're at their home track. They didn't do great. I know it's not like their home track, but apparently...
AlphaTauri itself is an Italian team.
Yeah, and they test at Imola, is supposedly. So, and with that, we've got our 6th place of our dead horse, Charles Leclerc. Just, this man needs to learn some patience.
Yeah.
Two
I mean, I
weeks in
hate
a
to
row.
beat the dead horse on Ferrari dominance, so I'm glad that they didn't quite get all the way up, because Ferrari's dominance was
It's too much. It's getting boring.
It was making it boring.
2 DNFs in a row by Sainz has been very nice, and then Leclerc just, I need the fastest lap, I need the fastest lap, I need the fastest. You don't need the fastest lap, because look what happens. Alright? Settle down, get in the car, race the race.
He did get the fastest lap at first, once switching to the soft tires.
Verstappen took it right back. Verstappen ended with the fastest lap.
Oh yeah.
Leclerc, you wasted your time, you ruined your race.
Well,
good job.
Yeah, because he pitted for the soft tires and then ended up spinning out at the same chicane.
He took a direct flight into that wall.
Yeah, he did.
He wanted nothing more than to ramp over that sausage curb and jump on Perez.
That dead horse wanted to ramp that sausage.
Let's just beat that dead horse. Speaking of dead horses, we got our Alfa Romano Spaghetti Bosa finishing in 5th with a very, very tight battle with Russell, who finished in 4th. Last 10 laps, they were just going at it. Good on Russell to defend Bottas. Bad on Bottas to not pass Russell. You were supposed to take that man out.
Yeah, bad on Bottas to not crash Russell going into Tamburello.
Come on, mano-y-mano, Bottas.
Yeah, dude, you gotta smack him in the corner and then get out and start smacking his helmet around. That's the only way to do it, Spaghetti Bosa. That's the only way to do it. Lando Norris rounding out the first part of the podium.
Yeah.
Excitingly, that's great. Glad to see the McLarens bouncing back up towards the top.
Definitely need those McLarens back up there.
Yeah.
It's good to have them going back. It's good to see like McLaren, Ferrari kind of being up there. I know McLaren's still really off the pace with Ferrari and Red Bull, but it's nice to see them trying to get back in there.
Working at it.
And so for the first 1-2 since 2016, we have the 2 Red Bulls of Max Verstappen in first and Sergio Perez.
Checo. We got Checo.
Checo Perez.
Yeah, finishing 1-2. That was great. There, a little chat in the
that
cool
debriefing thing.
room.
Every race. I want that every race.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Well, it was great just because it was just Max and Max E-million Verstappen.
E-million.
Not gonna let you forget. Still gonna beat that dead horse.
His middle name's a freaking E.
It's an E. But seeing Max and Checo just discuss the race, just talk it out. That was great. And then Lando comes on in and starts talking about him. Landis got Chuck Norris over there.
It's amazing.
It was great. It was great to see them just having a nice sit down, nice chat about the race. It's
good to see the podium guys being friendly with each other.
Yeah, that was a good champagne ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so that brings us to the end of our grid.
Yeah, that was the rundown of the Formula One Gran Premio del Made in Italy DELL'EMILIA-ROMAGNA 2022.
Say that 5 times fast.
No.
We're Betty, Joe, and Roy.
And this has been
Formula Lunch.
Walter Cronkite. No.
Is there water in that?
There's water in that. This? No!
All right, cut.